Everyone, I'm going to call the September 3rd, 2024 regular scheduled Board of County Commissioners meeting to order. I've asked Commissioner Perkins to lead us in the prayer and Commissioner Mobley to lead us in the pledge. If y'all would please stand.
Let us pray. Our Father God in heaven, we come, dear God, boldly before your throne of grace. We come, God, thank you for how you have truly blessed us and you watched over and you took care of us, oh God. Through many dangers, seen and unseen danger. You allowed us to be here this night, oh God. We thank you for allowing us to come together, dear God. Look on this board, dear God, that you will bless us, oh God, with the wisdom, the knowledge, and understanding, oh God, to handle everything that comes before this board. Give us patience, dear God. Give us wisdom and give us knowledge. And God, we ask you to bless those that come, dear God, that's here tonight, oh God. Bless them, oh God. Look on all our families, dear God. Ask, oh God, you look upon, dear God, our departments, dear God. Bless our workers, dear God, who work diligently out there, dear God, in the hot sun, in the rain. Dear God, they be apart from their families. Ask you to bless their families and bless them in a mighty way. Look on all our departments, God. Bless all our department heads. And God, ask you to look on our nation, dear God. God, we pray, dear God, to bring them into the one mind, dear God. Bring them to the mind to know that you are God. Bring them to the remembrance of you and your Son, Jesus the Christ, dear God. Stop all the bickering, all the fighting, dear God. For we all suffer when they fight. But bring us together with peace and happiness, dear God. And Lord, we ask, dear God, you continue, God, look on, dear God, our first responders. Look on them, God, that's here in this county, God, in every county. Look on those that's on foreign soil. You bless them in a mighty way. And we'll ever give your name the praise and the glory, God, because you're God and there's no other. We thank you in Christ we pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the August 19th, 2024 Budget Workshop Day 1, and then the August the 20th, 2024 Budget Workshop Day 2, and then the minutes from the August 20th, 2024 regular scheduled board meeting. Any questions, comments, changes?
Motion to approve.
No, sir. You can do that under public comment. I believe I had a motion
I did.
by Commissioner White.
I'll see it.
Have a second by Commissioner Mobley. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Next item on the agenda is public concerns and comment. Mr. Klepper, welcome, sir.
Moses Klepper, 14581 102nd Path, Live Oak. Hopefully better for everybody. I'm gonna just read this. Are we pulling item 4, 13, 14?
Commissioner Hale is pulling items 4, 13, and 14 for discussion. Yes, sir.
All right, so I'm going down here to the fire. The board agreed to reallocate the budgeted amount for the third ambulance for other items such as $120,000 for 2 trucks, $60,000 for 2 cars, $30,000 for policy updates, and $144,000 added to the radio repair line. I wonder how the fire department has been getting by without these 4 additional vehicles if they're truly needed now. And I, for one, I don't know what the $144,000 radio repair line is. And again, I don't see how we've been getting by without that if it's necessary.
Mr. Klepper, will you speak into the mic? The clerks asked me. Speak into the mic. Yeah, they can't hear you.
Okay,
Please,
sorry.
Sir. Please, sir.
Let's see.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I
No,
apologize for that.
No, I guess I want to be heard. How about we take that $350,000 and put it towards reducing the tax rate and millage rate burden on the taxpayers? Other than the ambulances and the previously mentioned equipment, the chief was requesting a Hearst Jaws of Life for $50,000. I found a battery operated set, which includes a cutter, a spreader, and a ram for $30,000. A $45,000 specific mannequin. I looked up the same one. I found a Symbodies Advanced Adult Male Mannequin for $39,000. $45,000 is requested for 5 rescue extrication airbag sets. I found the same for $25,000. $20,000 for 3 SCBA rapid intervention packs. I found the same for $1,500. It looks like to me that the chief got the word that you guys are a soft touch and is hitting us taxpayers up for an additional $56,000 on his wish list of requested items. I don't see good stewardship in these pricings. Also, I object to and call a conflict of interest in purchasing from the company Eddie Hand accepted a sales position from. Planning and zoning, looks like Ron Meeks is jumping on board to spend extra or add to his slush fund too. A 500%, not a 400% increase as reported on printing from $400 to $2,000. A 100% increase on office supplies from $5,000 to $10,000. In economic development, we're paying two individuals $200,000, and I sent y'all all emails of this same document or statement. Should have told y'all that first. Sorry if you hadn't seen it. Economic development, we're paying two individuals $200,000 a year in salaries, and they're wanting us to pay an additional $25,000 for professional services, which was only $12,000 last year to help them do the work, besides $160,000 along with the advertising increase of 32% or $40,000. This department with 2 employed personnel costs the taxpayers approximately $70,000 a month to operate as it is currently set up, with all the extravagant expenses being requested and paid for. I'm pretty sure if you ask the majority of your constituents, they would not be in favor of their monies being spent in this manner. The Sheriff's Department. The Sheriff's budget has increased about 80% since Sam's been in office. Public records requests have been unanswered, denied, or given inadequate responses. The sheriff has violated FS 119 by intentionally and knowingly not responded to multiple public records requests promptly and in good faith. Have any of you commissioners verified the taxpayers' monies are being spent appropriately in this department? There's a bunch of questions in here. I don't expect y'all to answer them as I go through them, but I would like responses to all the questions. Again, you can see all the questions on your email. The supervisor of election, 8% in salary increases in the department, $173,000 in assistance for them. Again, if that help is actually needed, can't training or specialized staff be hired or a replacement be made? Parks and Recreation, what did Jason Fury do with the $5,000 he requested and was given for the lawnmower lift last year that I asked about, nobody ever answered me about last year? I searched and found adequate lifts for less than $500. I certainly hope y'all would not consider giving him $85,000 for a skid steer when the sheriff's and the EOC is rumored to have more than one. Again, even making such requests is not good stewardship of taxpayers' funds. Road Department, I got a response from one of y'all about my concerns on this matter, and I'll wait and see if there's any action taken before I pursue this further. I know y'all think this is a part-time job, and often it appears that y'all believe that. And I and many other taxpayers consider the job a salaried position where those who accept the commission will put forth whatever effort and time required to do what is needed without rushing through issues or like certain exempt salaried county employees expect additional compensation. Which one of y'all truly survey your constituents on significant matters? Which of you have all of your constituents' emails or phone numbers on an email or text thread where you could randomly solicit 10% of their opinions on significant matters concerning the county in order to get a true consensus of the taxpayers' desires? I believe if y'all truly wanted to act in our best interest, you would survey our responses instead of reacting to special interest influences. In the past 4 years, I've had to spend hundreds of dollars getting information from our elected and appointed officials in this county. Those same officials during that same 4-year period have been paid as much as $650,000 each, and at times have wasted time and money attempting to block access to information guaranteed to anyone by the Florida statutes. As commissioners, you should be concerned with this fact and investigate and assure that those who are in violation of Florida statutes are dealt with appropriately. One of y'all warned me quite some time back that replacing the Harris Stapleton Pravat regime could be worse for the people than retaining them. I'm not so certain that the time has not come to pass. If it's still possible with the way things are being set up, as I've done for years, I'm again asking you to make informed decisions based on the true desires of the people and to work to reduce our tax and millage rates by spending our money like it's coming out of your own pocket. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clever. Is there anyone else from the public wishing to, Mr. Broders? Name and address, Mr. Broders, please, sir.
Keith Broders, 18929 60th Place. The thing I want to share with you now is if you go back to the history of our land, I'm not going to call it country because that's part of what I'm going to talk about. If you realize that the colonists went to war essentially because of the abuse of power by King George in Parliament. Lord Acton, a one-time statesman for Great Britain, said that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And the more power you have, the more corruption you have. Now, our founding fathers knew that, and our founding fathers, when they wrote the Constitution and when the preamble was written, the preamble says, "We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union." Did it say country? Did it say nation? They did that deliberately because they did not want to create a nation. They did not want to create a country. They wanted to create a unified 50 sovereign states. In the Treaty of Paris in 1783, King George acknowledged that as a result of the peace treaty, 13 new nations were created. The 13 former British colonies were nations. Florida is not. Florida is a country. Florida is a nation. The United States government is not a nation. Interestingly enough, the Civil War, a lot of people think, well, Abraham Lincoln saved the Union. No, he did not. He destroyed the Union. The South was fighting for the Constitution. The Constitution provided that slavery was legitimate in the Constitution. The Constitution can be changed through ratification, not civil war. The southern states wanted to preserve state sovereignty. Abraham Lincoln wanted to turn the government upside down. In order to create a new nation, which he talked about in his Gettysburg Address, he talked about the birth of a new nation. First off, he had to destroy the Union of States, and he had to take the sovereignty away from the people and away from the states so that the central government could obtain that. We are sovereign. The states answer to us, and the federal government is supposed to answer to the states. So anyway, I just want you to think about that, and that's the fact that this country of ours, in the Pledge of Allegiance, we shouldn't be pledging allegiance to a flag. We should be pledging allegiance to our Creator, and we should not be talking about one nation under God. It's 50 nations under God, not one nation. 50 nations under God. Anyway, that's what I wanted to share with you today. I'd like you to ponder it and realize that we've been lied to, and that's why we're in the position that we are right now. Our government is too powerful, it's too strong, and as Lord Acton said, that's why it's so corrupt.
Thank you, Mr. Broders. Anyone else? I have one comment card, but anyone else from the public wishing to speak that didn't maybe fill out? Sure.
Lady over here, right?
You want to come? Yes, ma'am. Welcome.
Eliza Fenimore, County Road 250.
I watched your July 16th meeting, and I noticed a couple of ladies talk about this permits office, the issues. I don't know if you've done something about it. I'm one of the victims. Sad to say, it delayed my roofing project for 2 months because of the permits issue. It got resolved because I have to come into the office, and I stayed there for almost 3 hours. I was calling back and forth between my contractor and asking them. I was standing there. Her phone was ringing constantly. So I said to the lady, "Will you not answer that?" And she kind of followed my instruction. I know she's not happy on that. Anyway, I asked my contractor, "Did you follow the instructions? It says here," I took a picture. There's a QR code. "Did you follow exactly what it says here?" Contractor sent me the picture right there, and she did. Out of courtesy, I went back and forth to that very hot hallway to talk to them, and I figure out why. Your instruction is incomplete. I resolved it right there. It's by closing the application that the information could send into your cloud. Well, I would say thank you. You didn't pay me for that, but I resolved it. And ever since, I've been telling people, if you apply for a permit and it's cloud, close the application and it will send in. Okay? So my question is, have we done something to this lady, which is very problematic? I called the office multiple times, and since I'm at work, I put it on my auto dialer. It took me half day before I can connect. And I call her Shorty. Everybody knows who she is. And I said, "Could you give me information about my application?" And she said to me, "I cannot give you information and I cannot do my job because I need to answer your call." Is this what you call customer service? She is not appropriate for that office. I tell you that. First of all, if you're not willing to take her out, if she's still there, put her in proper training, please, because it's not giving us a proper, look with our county. It's not very nice. My second item is I called the DOT few days after Hurricane Debbie, and I asked, "Do you guys plan to pick up the tree debris? Because it's all over the county." The lady says to me, "We haven't thought about that." Gosh, I need to remind them. So she said to me, "Call me after a week." I gave her the benefit of the doubt. I called after 2 weeks. I think that's enough time. And she told me that, yeah, they're working on it. She's sending the engineers to take a look at it. That was 2 weeks ago. I called last week and they said they're outside, they're working on it. I drove 250, 136, sir. All those trees are piling up. And then my next issue is, since the whole summer, we never saw them mow or bush hog the side roads. It's horrible. It's as tall as my car. I mean, if someone broke down and pulled over that side, that's like lighting a candle. And everybody knows that. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. On the debris pickup, I forget your last name. Miss Fettimore, on the debris pickup, the contractor is here, and they are picking that up. I don't know their route schedule. I don't know if Mr. Scott knows their route schedule. But our contact is through FDOT, and so the rest of the public knows. FDOT, Florida Department of Transportation, they're picking up the tab on that again. They're doing it just like they did Idalia. I've seen some of the big trucks around. I don't know where all their yards at just yet, but they will be picking up the debris on all the public roads.
Well, I hope they do it sooner because the voters will not come.
I understand. And the mowing, the debris, the debris, chicken egg. I understand.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Anyone else from the public wishing to speak? Mrs. Brown. I got a comment card from Miss Jennifer. There she is. Miss Jennifer Brown. Welcome. How are you tonight?
I'm not here to read.
Name and address for the record. Please, ma'am.
My name's Jennifer Brown, 16586 76th Street, Live Oak, Florida, 32060. Question, can I talk to you about the solid waste and the fire department, or
Sure.
one or the other?
Yes, ma'am, you got 3 minutes, but
right, I'll
obviously
try
we
to
haven't
make it
been
quick.
enforcing it strictly tonight, but
All right,
go ahead.
that's fine. I'm going to start with the fire first. Mainly Hurricane Idalia. One of my neighbors, Alicia Mincy, lost her home last year, burned to the ground. We had this discussion a couple years ago prior to the hurricane. I asked then Chief Eddie Hand about using possibly one of the farm wells to help, fill the trucks up with water, because there's no water. And if you live out in the rural country like I do, there's no help for us. Our houses will burn down. Most of our people, senior citizens, have no homeowners insurance. So we're homeless when this happens. I have no objection to going up on the millage rate if it's going to help the people. But right now, there's no help for us. And without you guys working to get 76th Street repaved, that's going to be a huge factor in getting help to us quicker. But we need help.
We're signing a grant with FDOT tonight for $6.2 million with Anderson
know,
Columbia
and I
to
thank
pave
you.
76th Street.
I know, I chewed y'all out about that 2 years ago, but thank you. That's greatly appreciated. But we do need help, whether it be volunteer fire department. I know it's hard to get guys. The budget's tight, I get that. But we're going to be paying more, and there's nothing to help us. We'll be homeless when this takes place. All right, solid waste, real quick. I pay Pop Sanitation because I can't make it to the county dump sites. So they come in, they pick up my trash, they haul it off. My husband owns a trucking business. He has to pay the landfill to haul truck tires off. No problem. All right, my question to you guys are, if we're paying and we can supply a voucher, I do know they do this for CDLs, for health cards, medical cards. It's a $6 recording fee at the tax collector's office in order for a truck driver to keep their license. What this has to do with solid waste is if we have a voucher saying we have paid for our waste for a full year or quarterly, depending on how you pay your taxes, can we implement that versus paying you guys twice for solid waste? Because when I talk to Pops, they're paying you guys to dump our trash. So the money I'm giving them, they're giving to you. And then I got to turn around and pay an assessment to do the same thing that I'm not using. And when I checked the statutes, I believe it was chapter 170, I think it is, special assessments, it says the municipalities may propose, levies and this and that for solid waste being one of them. So the way I interpret that is you guys have the power to work with the people instead of us having to double pay.
You gonna be here will you be here for the whole meeting and we can talk to you afterwards? I think that
Absolutely.
what you're talking about on the double paying, I think that's a legality question. I don't think
Yeah.
that there's an avenue to exempt some people in and out.
Well,
But
I'm
gonna defer that to the lawyer maybe after the meeting.
I got you, but yes, I will be here. But I ask you guys to consider when y'all propose all these new millage rates, can y'all compromise a little bit? I know you have to pay for services, but we've got senior citizens, we've got people that we're starving to death. I mean, literally, we can't afford to buy groceries, and I know y'all have to pay for this stuff, but we're starving, literally.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Like I say, stick around afterwards. Chief Miller's here too, so you can talk to him about the fire. Anyone else from the public wishing to speak? Seeing none, we will move along. Proclamations and presentations. The presentation of the financial report for fiscal year 22-23.
Mr. Chairman, we do have time-specific items.
Oh, yeah. We have a time specific, I'm sorry. Yep. Florida statute. Keep us in line here. Item number 16, if you guys will. Item number 16 states at 5:30 p.m. or soon thereafter, as the matter can be heard, hold a public hearing to discuss with possible board action the adoption of final rate resolution for fire protection assessment for fiscal year 2024-2025. Mr. Greg Scott.
Several meetings ago, you all adopted a rate, and this is just the formality of going through and keeping that rate for fire rescue. It was $120.
Yep.
This is just to adopt the resolution.
Yes, sir. It's a formality to adopt that resolution.
Which is, Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
is no change, is that right?
No, sir, there's no change.
Yep.
The assessment would remain the same on residential units as last year at the 120. Any board members have any questions for staff? Anyone from the public wishing to speak on this particular matter? We'll close public comment. Any board discussion on the topic? Seeing none, do I have a motion to adopt the resolution?
So move.
Have a motion by Commissioner Hale.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Perkins. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Before we do number 17, Mr. Scott, I know last year, or maybe it was the year before last, when we sent that notification, there's a notification that goes out to all the homeowners.
Right.
In regards to that, there was a little bit of confusion with some folks in the public about the proposed rate versus what the maximum, the government services group that did the study, that maximum rate was on there too, which really scared the heck out of people. I think the maximum rate, it's in the resolution, $300 and something bucks,
Right.
but the county's only doing 120.
Right.
Can we make sure that that's very clear, that I think there's a legality on what that maximum, you have to say what that
Right.
could be
Right.
per them,
Yeah.
but I just don't want another postcard to go out and get all the phone calls saying, why are you raising my fire assessment at $300 something, because we are not.
Right.
We can make that change whenever we send it out again, yes.
Okay. Y'all good with that?
Yeah, Mr.
I mean, I think we all probably got them.
Oh, yeah,
It was
yeah.
posted on there, but it was,
Maybe we can just highlight what it actually is.
maybe
there.
put the actual one in
Approved rate.
bold or something, so
Right.
it's like,
The
no, we're
proposed
not.
rate.
Yes.
Right.
So let's go to item number 17, which is also time-specific, at 5:30 PM or soon thereafter, as the matter can be heard, hold a public hearing to discuss with possible board action the adoption of final rate resolution for solid waste assessment for fiscal year 2024-2025. Mr. Scott, this is pretty much the same, similar situation,
Right.
formality of adopting the solid waste assessment at the 225. Any board members have any questions for staff? I'll open the floor to public comment. Anybody from the public wishing to speak on this particular matter? We'll close public comment. Any board discussion?
Just for the record, just stating that no change there.
There's no changes. There's no change on the solid waste assessment either.
Correct.
Both will remain the same for the next fiscal year.
Thank you, sir.
Same as last year, right?
Same as last year, no increases. Now, where am I at? If no other discussion, do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Have a motion by Commissioner White,
Second.
second by Commissioner Hale. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. We'll close that public hearing. One more time specific, and that's item number 18. At 5:30 PM or as soon thereafter as the matter can be heard, hold a public hearing to consider special permit request number SP-24-09-01 by Wesley and Julia Smith to be granted a special permit under section 4.4.5B3 of the Suwannee County Land Development Regulations for a residential home for the aged on property zoned agricultural 1. Mr. Ron Meeks, welcome, sir. I think the attorney needs to swear you in.
You swear affirm testimony you give in this cause is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Mr. Chairman, board members, what you have before you is a special permit request for a residential home for the aged. The proposed site has an existing single-family residence that exists on the property. Size of that home is around 4,866 square feet. It proposes to have anywhere from 3 to 6 employees, and the initial startup would contain approximately 12, be able to house at least 12 beds. There's existing bedrooms that are in the single-family residence now. The proposed would be to take a garage area and have that remodeled as well so that it can house additional beds. The location of the property is at the corner intersection of County Road 136A and 89th Road. You have attached with the application a little bit of a synopsis of the proposed use and also answering the questions that the LDRs ask, that if the board is going to approve such a special permit request, the applicant must comply with satisfying those answers to those questions. And you'll see all of those that are pertinent to the application that have been addressed. The applicants are present here tonight. If anybody on the board has any questions as it relates to their operation or anything that you feel has been left out, with your application and report, you have a proposed ordinance or a proposed resolution for adoption. So if the board so chooses to approve the request, then you would need to do so in adopting the resolution. And then if you propose to deny the request, then the board must state which items that the applicant is deficient in and the reasons for the denial. If you don't have any questions of me at this time, I would enter the file into the record. And again, I'll state that the applicants are present. If you have anything that you'd like to ask, or if there's any questions that they need to address, I would enter the file into the record at this time.
Admitted as one.
Thank you, Mr. Meeks. Any board members got any questions for Mr. Meeks or the applicants?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Perkins.
Mr. Meeks, this meets all the life safety, I think you said, am I right? Life safety and all the permitting?
Well, I mean, this would be the land use approval. If there's any things that needs to be addressed on the permitting side would be after the fact, as far as any of the remodel stuff, ingress and egress, ADA, accessibility requirements would all have to be met. Yes, sir.
Okay. And this would be advertised at change of venue, of change of use?
It's already been done.
The hearing?
Yes.
Yes, sir. It's been advertised.
Okay.
Yes. Signposted.
So we had no neighbors had no objection?
I had some phone calls from neighbors who had questions. They were going to indicate that they were going to reach out to the Smiths and maybe ask some questions, but I haven't had any oppositions.
Okay. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Perkins. Any other board members have any questions for the applicants or Mr. Meeks? No. Seeing none, I will open the floor to, thank you, Mr. Meeks. I will open the floor to public comment. Anyone present from the public wishing to speak on this particular item? Seeing none, I will close public comment. Any discussion, board members? So I think it's a good project. I think anytime we can provide a need or there's applicants willing to provide a service to the elderly, that's a good thing, especially in a small environment such as that. So I'd be in support of that.
Absolutely.
Any other discussion?
So moved.
Have a motion to approve by Commissioner Perkins.
I'll second it.
Have a second by Commissioner Mobley. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Mr. Clerk.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Meeks. I will close that public hearing. Thank you for keeping me on track, Mr. Attorney.
Yes, sir.
Now we're going to go to proclamations and presentations. Item number 2, the presentation of the financial report. Welcome, sir. How are you today? Mr. Huff, right?
Sir?
Mr. Huff, right?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Good deal. Name and address for the record, please, sir. You can give your office address.
Okay, thanks. Brad Huff. I live in Lake City, so I don't know if that matters, but
We won't kick you out.
I appreciate it. So what you guys have before you is the annual financial report for the board and the constitutional officers for 2023. It's quite a large report and everything, so I've printed out the PowerPoint for you all to follow along. First of all, I want to thank you all for the opportunity to work with you this year. I can say Keith and Nina and Gwen did a fantastic job of getting us the things we needed to. So I really appreciate everything that they did. And so if you look on the first slide, it's our audit opinion. So the goal of a financial audit is to obtain a clean opinion, which means that the financial statements that you have are reliable for those who want to make a decision based off of them. And in the second paragraph on page 8 of the report, it does in fact say that you all received that unmodified opinion. We've conducted our audit in accordance with financial auditing standards, governmental auditing standards, and then, of course, the state and federal auditing standards. And again, like I said, that you all have received a clean opinion on your financial statements. So that's good. Pages 11 through 17 of your report are the management's discussion analysis. These are important for putting the financial statements into a context. It's based off of the information in the financial statement, so I'll skip over that, but it is good to read on your own time, as it were. And so we'll move on to the governmental funds balance sheet, or so the GASB 34 says that financial statements are to be presented in two ways. One's more a business type, and then one's more of a budgeting type, more on the focuses on the immediacy. Usually boards and councils are more concerned with what's immediate. And so on page 22 of your financial statements, we look at the balance sheet. The balance sheet shows what you owe and what's owed to you, and then the net of that, which is going to be your fund balance. If you look on the general fund, the overall fund balance there, the net of those two numbers of assets and liabilities, is about $21 million. And 16.5 of that is unassigned. One thing that we would like to do, like a metric that we like to look at, is if you spent in the same way that you spent this year, how long would it take before that unassigned amount would run out? And so if you see at the bottom of that page, it's about 8 months. We would like to see about 4 and stuff like that, so 8 months is a good sign. If you move along to the, it would be page 23, but that's the statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance. That's going to be for your governmental funds. That's going to be what you've earned during the period, and then what you spent during the period. And if you look just in your general fund, you earned about $30 million, and then you spent about $25 million in operations. But overall, you had a decrease in fund balance by about $3 million, and that's largely because of transfers to other funds and floating that. Moving along, we can go to the proprietary funds. Proprietary funds can be your utility funds that are run more like a business. Those are on pages 25 through 29. That's going to be your solid waste collection, your solid waste disposal, and your water plant, and keeps track of that. If you look at those as far as your assets and deferred outflows of resources, for your water waste collection, you have about $3 million there. You have about $5 million in your solid waste disposal and assets, and then you have about $8 million in your water plant. The net position there, which is again, it's going to be your assets less your liabilities. That is for your solid waste collection. You had about $650,000 in net assets. A good portion of that is invested in your fixed assets, which we'll talk about in a second. And then for your solid waste disposal, you have about $2.8 million, and then the water plant, again, you have the $8 million, which a good portion of that's an investment in fixed assets. We had, as far as also on that, the change in your unrestricted net position year over year, you had a decrease in the solid waste collection of about 20%. You had an increase in the solid waste of over 100%, and then 160% in the water plant. And that's dealing with assets or fixed assets. And so, as far as for your proprietary funds, your operating revenues and expenses, for your solid waste collection, operationally, they're lost across the board, but those are funded by the special assessment, the fire assessment. So if you look down there, the change in that position actually increased in all except for the water plant. And the reason for that is depreciation related to that big $7 million project you guys had in the prior year. Capital assets are on page 49 and 50. These are long-term assets that the county owns. And so if you look, your governmental activities, which is going to be, what's funded by your taxes and grants and what have you, you have net capital assets of about $83 million. And those are, depreciation is kind of an estimate of how much of that useful life, or how much of the useful life has been used up. It is only an estimate, and obviously with these big numbers, there's going to be a lot of stuff in there. But just on a broad view, for your governmental activities, you've used up about half of your capital assets, and then for your business type activities, which is that utility fund, the solid waste funds and the water plant, you've used up a little less than half of those. That's good. Another thing I'd like to point out is debt management. So for your governmental activities, like your general fund, you can look down there. Your long-term debt increased by about $6.2 million this year. Most of that has to do with the FRS pension liability that's actuarially determined. There's not really a whole lot you can do about that. So that's why the debt would have increased. Everything else stayed reasonably the same. Obviously, it was paid down in the year. For your business type activities, again, that's your utility funds. The county had liability for compensated absences, which is what you pay people when they're terminated. That built up about a vacation leave or what have you, about $150,000. You have your landfill closure and post-closure liability, which is about $1.3 million. And then again, you have your FRS, which is about $2.1 million, which is actually determined. As was the case in prior years, when you spend over $750,000 in state or federal funding, it triggers what's called a single audit, where we look more at compliance with state and federal programs. The main thing you want to know about there is probably the programs that were selected was the Airport Improvement Program of federal funds. We had no findings related to that. And then the federal, the state grant program, or the state programs were the aviation grant program, the SCOT program, and then the law enforcement salary assistance for fiscally constrained counties program. And those, again, we had no findings for that, so those are good. Page 116 through 118 is the management letter. That'll communicate any other findings we had. We had a couple this year, mostly related to bank reconciliations that seem like they're going to be taken care of and substantially improved in the current year. But other than that, there were no other findings. And then, of course, on page 119 is the independent accounts report, which talks about your stewardship of public funds, and we had no findings related to that either. So, again, we really appreciate the opportunity to work with you guys, and didn't know if you had any questions on that.
Any commissioners have any questions for Mr. Huff? No, we're good.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you,
No
Mr. Huff.
report.
Yes, appreciate you all.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it. The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Commissioner Hale has pulled items 4, 13, and 14. So we have up for approval on the consent agenda items 3, items 5 through 12, and item 15. Questions, comments, concerns?
So moved.
Have a motion by Commissioner Perkins to approve those items.
Second.
Have a second by Commissioner White. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Item number 4 has been pulled by Commissioner Hale. Acceptance of Mark Equid's resignation from the TDC Board, and approve the recommendation of David Birch to complete his term. Commissioner Hale?
So I actually don't have any problems with 4, 13, or 14. I was just asked from someone from the thing to pull them for discussion, but I'm in favor of all of them.
Okay.
All right.
Mr. Kleber?
Appreciate the
Yeah.
ability to have something pulled instead of just being passed. Because like Mr. Hancock said numerous times, that quite often he views, and he's got more experience than several of us put together working in this building on this, he's 25 plus years. So he thinks that some of this stuff should be on the general. I think some of it should. But anyway, On number 4, again, trying to save y'all some effort, I wrote a statement on this one. In my belief, David Birch consistently performed incompetently as a Live Oak City Council president. Also, recently, he voted to add toxic fluoride to the kids' drinking water and to annex up to 400 units in the Bass Road property that will add to the flooding and traffic issues around the schools and the downtown area. If you are wanting him to, on the TDC board, to be a yes man for this gentleman, then he's your guy. If any of y'all are concerned about the best interest of the taxpayers, vote against David Birch joining the TDC board.
Any questions, comments, concerns? We got 2 more agenda items to talk about, so don't get in a hurry. We got 13 and 14. Any questions, comments, concerns, or do I have a motion on item number 4?
Oh, you need a motion?
I need a motion and
I'll promote.
a motion to approve by Commissioner Hale.
Second.
So y'all sleeping or
I
what?
was trying to wait on that bunch down there to do something.
Second by Commissioner White. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign.
I oppose.
You,
Yeah, oppose.
okay.
My reason for opposing is, Mr. Chairman, is I've experienced that. I'm not connected with what Ms. was saying, but so there was some previous things I did see in the city that I wasn't quite pleased with in his behavior. Things that he had called one of his other members of the board, and things that he said that I really don't think was professional. The way his attitude and conduct as a board member. So it was some very rough stuff was said.
Fair enough. I'm not aware of that situation, but I do respect your opinion on
I've
that.
been to that meeting, and I know some things that was very hostile.
I support that. I supported it because, and I'll tell you why. Just so you know, because he does represent. He's employed by Advent Christian Village, who does have a vested interest in the TDC. Due to the motel, they have a very small. I don't know if I'm saying motel or hotel. I don't know the correct difference.
So I can explain it better. David Birch will not be paid by the county for representing Advent Christian Village. He's paid by us, company. So my boss is too busy to attend the meeting, so he'll just be attending.
Correct. So I supported I support. I'm just telling you why I support. I supported because Mr. Mark had asked me. He's like she said. He's the CFO for Advent Christian Village. They have an interest in and Mr. Birch works for the Advent Christian Village and has for years. They asked if he could be their representative on the TDC board. So therefore, I supported that as a representative of Advent Christian Village.
Yes.
But fair enough. I respect your opinion.
Thanks, sir.
So that motion carried 4-1. Miss Clerk. About called you Mrs. Clerk.
She got it. And on 13, if you don't mind, Mr. Chairman, I just ask, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I know what the advertising company does.
Well, let me read it really quick.
Yes,
Item number, because I don't know that everybody out here has an agenda. Item number 13 is the renewal of the agreement with Madden Media to continue advertising services for the Suwannee County Tourist Development Office. It's a budgeted item. So, Commissioner Hale, you're good with it?
Yeah, I agree with it. I don't know any issues with it myself. Jimmy, I mean, just speak to what that company's done for us and doing for that.
Well, I'll get to that if you don't mind. I think what's important is most people, no matter how many times I've seen to explain it, they don't listen. And the tourism development tax is collected when you rent a room at the lodge and they pay, or the Holiday Inn or anywhere else. It does not come from general revenue. None of these taxpayers pay it.
Unless they rent a motel room.
Unless you go stay at the Holiday Inn.
Or an Airbnb. Or
right. So this is a
campground.
tourism tax. And by statute, we are tasked with using that money to promote, market, advertise Suwannee County. That's basically it, other than a couple of little criteria. We have to use the money for those things. Anyway,
specific.
Mr. Furry is the vice chair, so I've asked him to join me. So.
Yeah, I was just going to speak for the board, for the TDC board, that just what Jimmy said, that's a bed tax money. It's not coming from the citizens of the county.
Unless they rented a room.
Unless they rented a room, yes, sir, sorry, or an Airbnb. But yeah, that's, that money's strictly for advertising and marketing the county, and people coming out of the area, into the area for visiting Suwannee County.
And again, Mr. Chairman, it's
Yes,
very
sir.
specific as to how it gets used, kind of like our 911, emergency 911
Those funds are, the use of those funds are very restricted.
Right, so I
Per
don't have a
statute,
problem
that's
with it. I
correct.
just wanted, it was asked to be pulled, and then after I really thought about it, thought it'd be a good idea to explain what those funds are and how they get used.
Just so that the public is clear, because it keeps getting misrepresented, and that's not the truth. The truth is we have to use it in certain ways, and that's what we're doing. The $100,000 is the same exact budget we had last year, no difference. There's an additional $10,000 for the visitation study that we have been talking about on that board for the last few years. And actually, I think Commissioner Land, it was at your suggestion that we put it off until this coming year. And so we budgeted for it in our professional services line to pay for that, because that was what the board had asked for us to do. Correct, sir?
That's correct. Yeah, I just wanted to point out that was a different line item in the professional services. We had, the TDC board felt like they wanted to further that study and know where are the people going once they're in town. Like, we know where they're coming from. They're Googling and researching us from Tampa, Orlando, New York, wherever. But once they get here, we don't know. Do they go to the Dixie Grill? Do they go to the Spirit of the Suwannee? Are they visiting the parks or the springs? So this will help us. Madden will, do an in-depth search while they're here, and we'll be able to track where they're going. And that was just a decision the TDC board wanted to further look at that data.
Right, and for the public's information, TDC board is comprised of members from the tourist industry, if you will.
Correct.
Multiple,
In
I mean, that's a,
statute, who sits on that?
correct, it has to be, they have to be,
Just like with the village and Mr. Purge, the Advent Christian Village collects the tax. So we have a certain amount of those people that have to be on the board that collect the tax, and the Advent Christian Village is one of those.
right, with their lodge.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I just want to make a point while you're there, too, that ours is only at 3%, and everybody surrounding us is at 5%
On the TDC tax.
on the TDC tax.
And the TDC board passed both of these and recommended these at their board meeting, hence is why it's on our agenda.
Yes, you guys had the ultimate say, but yes, they voted unanimously on each one of these issues.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir, Commissioner Perkins.
I just want to comment on, I know what you're saying about the tax and using those funds. And just to back up what you were saying, being into the facts meeting, that money cannot be used other than what you're using within for your promotion of advertisement. The mayor down in Orlando, they were setting up some legislation or some talk, I guess, to go in there to petition the governor and those in Tallahassee so they can take funds out of that money to use it for other things.
Yes.
But they had to go that route. You just can't go and use it. You got to go through the proper procedures in order to use that money, those funds.
I would suspect Orlando's pot of money is significantly larger.
Yeah, well, they're a very
Swanee
great
County.
tourist town, yes.
I'm sure. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're by far the smallest in our whole region. As you said, most places collect 5%. We're only at 3%. So we work within what we have, and we're under budget every year and still are doing great things. So.
Thank you, Mr. Norris. Mr. Fury. Any other board members have any? Mr. Klepper, you want to speak?
Yeah, I do.
Yes, sir.
I heard what they said, and I can't argue that, and don't have access to all of it. And I wanted to draw to y'all's attention, and it's been before. It'll cost me, I can't imagine what this guy charged me to do public records request, but when y'all could do it. But I'm ignorant, I'll admit. I don't know if that 110 grand could be used towards a salary. It can't be, you can't have somebody specifically hired to
Can he
do
speak to him as not just
the work
this guy?
that you are contracting
Mr.
out?
Norris
That can't be
or
done, surely?
Director, like I said, this guy.
Okay, so
He's always said this
there's
guy
a,
again.
that's something I'm more concerned about. I've said this forever with most of the grant writers and everything. If we got somebody employed working for us instead of one of the many that are contracting work done out, they're not primarily focused on us, all right? we spend this money as an employee and have them, somebody that's able to redo the website or whatever, you know. I see that somebody was talking about all sorts of loopholes for corruption and all. Well, all this money, you know, that is just earmarked for this, that, and other. If you got an employee, we know they're getting paid a certain amount, they're doing a certain job, and I'd much rather see one more county employee that's doing the work for less money, and I don't expect that it's limited only to that. Any kind of advertisement, anything we do that draws attention to this county, I would think would be qualified under that criteria. So I'd appreciate if y'all would consider that. I don't think that's been talked about, only the contracting.
Mr. Norris, aren't TDC board members open to the public, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Klepper, I would advise you to come, and the TDC board voted unanimously to do this, and we're not going to argue with anybody on that TDC board because that's their business, that's what they do, they're collecting that money, they're the one who owns the motels and the lodges, and if that group, those business leaders, voted to do this, and this is what they wanted to do, and they're the one that's in the trenches, so to speak. I'm not going to sit up here and argue with them. In essence, I won't say it's their money, but it's helping promote indirectly their business that they're paying into. So, I mean, I'd welcome you to come to the TDC board members and you tell them that you want to spend that money differently. And maybe they'll vote differently there. But this is their recommended approval, and it passed unanimously. I don't know, how many members are on that board? 9. Unanimous, 9-0 to do this. I heard you, but I'm going to have to disagree with you on it.
My thoughts, was that discussed at the board meeting?
No, because it's not really, you're looking at one employee. They do numerous things for us. They don't do just one thing. One employee could never do what our marketing company does for us. There's just no way.
I don't think we have the resources, Mr. Moses, to do that.
They're filming videos with $150,000 cameras. We're not. You want us to buy a $150,000 camera to be compatible? You're going to hire a subcontractor for $100,000 to do it all. I mean, I'm not sitting and argue with you all night because you're going to be on devil's advocate on everything I say every time.
10-year window. I mean, 1 year, true. But
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir, Commissioner Perkins.
Can I suggest that Mr. Klepper sit down with Mr. Norris and he can go and explain it to him? Because we're going to be here for a minute.
Yeah, we're going to be here all night.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Y'all get together after the meeting and talk about it.
Explain to you, get a better understanding concept of what's done.
Any other discussion from the board members on items 13 and 14?
No, sir.
Okay. Do I have a motion? Can we do both of these together? Items 13 and 14. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Have a motion by Commissioner Perkins to approve.
Second.
Have a second by, he beat you, Commissioner Mobley.
Okay.
All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Okay, moving along, we did 16, 17, 18. Constitutional officer items. Any constitutional officers present wishing to speak? I don't see any. Staff items. Any staff wishing to speak? Yes, Mr. Norris.
Yes, Chris.
And the brains behind the organization, Mrs.
Absolutely. As y'all know, obviously without her, we would not be having the success that we are having.
You got to lay off that coffee.
Well, we had to switch computers a while ago because the other one wouldn't work. And
Not yet.
some of that
Might be like chocolate in that office.
Yeah,
Go in there.
that's why I'm diabetic now.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. That and I can't quit.
Chris, did I jinx you?
Hi.
Well,
Good evening. Is that good? All right. Last week, we attended the Florida Governor's Conference on Tourism, which was at the Tampa Convention Center in Tampa, Florida. At that conference, Visit Florida announced the recipients of the 2024 Florida Tourism Hall of Fame and the Flagler Awards during the annual Chairman's Dinner. Each year, leaders in Florida tourism are chosen by selected committees to receive these prestigious awards. The Henry Awards were named for Henry Flagler, who is a key figure in the development of Florida as a tourist destination. These awards were established in 2000 to recognize outstanding tourism marketing in Florida. Annually, the Flagler Awards honor many of the countless individuals and organizations that help maintain and improve Florida's position as one of the world's most popular tourist destinations. The awards are open to all individuals, private businesses, and non-for-profit organizations that offer a product or service that promotes tourism to or within the state of Florida. The 2024 Flagler Awards drew 260 entries from organizations large and small. Working independently, a diverse panel of 13 judges evaluated the creativity, innovation, production, quality, and effectiveness of each entry. Based on the judges' cumulative scores, awards were presented to the top 3 entries in each category. A bronze award goes to the 3rd highest scoring entry. The silver goes to the 2nd highest scoring entry. And for the highest scoring entry in each category, they get the Henry Award. The 2024 Flagler Awards consist of winners in 18 categories, plus Best in Show for 4 budget levels. On July 24th, we were contacted by Visit Florida and notified that we had been nominated for the Flagler Awards. We were nominated in the rural category, and just so you know, there are 30 rural counties in Florida. We competed against other communities that have budgets that are 6 or 7 times larger than ours. With the help of our advertising agency, Madden Media, our objective was to establish Suwannee County as a quintessential small-town retreat, ideal for people seeking a serene getaway infused with numerous opportunities for outdoor adventure and nature immersion. So I'd like to show you a slideshow of some things that had to be submitted in order for them to consider us. So this is a Springs.
There she is. There she is.
I think it's the display.
She's not talking to who's this guy? Oh, it's not extending. I don't know what to do. You just click something until it works. Gotta drag the dude or hang on.
You gotta go to settings.
We're working on it, baby.
All right, it's a team effort. Okay, so I think we've been here before and we've shown you the new Springs page that we created a little while back. So this is the Springs landing page that we just had to show Visit Florida to let them see what we had done. Here. Okay. Our campaign consisted of Google prospecting and remarketing ads. So this is an example of the prospecting ads on Google. This is our most popular ad in different sizes that would be shown based on the space that was available for an ad or based on the type of device being used, like a desktop versus a tablet versus a phone. So if people click on these ads, it would take them to our website. These are some examples of the remarketing ads on Google, and same thing here. If someone clicked on this ad, it would take them to our website. We also used search engine marketing. So we identified keywords that potential visitors might be searching for and created ads based on those keywords or phrases. So some examples here are music festivals, events in Suwannee County, freshwater springs, or family fun. And again, all of these ads take people to our website when they click on them. Of course, we ran ads on Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram. Again, you can see beautiful photography of real places in Suwannee County and activities that people can do when they come here. And this is just another example. This is a carousel ad. So when you see this ad, you can scroll through multiple pictures in the same ad and see different things. And same thing again here. For audiences on Meta, YouTube, and similar platforms, our digital marketing strategy featured engaging 15 and 30-second videos that showcase Suwannee County as a vibrant and adventurous destination. These combined efforts directed individuals to the Springs page that I showed you at the beginning, which is an immersive and dynamic landing page that guides users through an array of springs in Suwannee County. The integration of interactive maps throughout the page allows users to grasp the expansive nature of the springs system here, fostering a genuine sense of place. And I'm sure you can gather that we wouldn't be up here right now if we didn't have some big news.
For Rural County Marketing, the Bronze Award goes to the Gulf County Tourist Development Council for Lose the Crowds, Find Yourself. The Silver Award goes to the Apalachicola Bay Chamber of Commerce for Butts and Clucks Cook-Off on Food Network. And the Henry Award goes to Visit Suwannee County for the Soul of Suwannee.
So we're going to pass this around. That's the Henry Award.
Very good. Proud of y'all. Absolutely.
Very proud. Dang, that thing's
It's
heavy.
heavy. We'll do it.
We hit my
It's way.
So as a result of all our hard work and effort, we won first place for rural marketing and received the Henry Award, as you can see. But there's more to the story. Because the Soul of Suwannee campaign results and how successful it was, we were also nominated for Best in Show with annual budgets of less than $150,000. Best of Show is defined by the organization's total marketing budget. However, it is not limited to rural counties. All the 18 categories were considered, such as print advertising, internet advertising, mobile advertising, social media, television, radio, and so forth.
The final 4 awards this evening are for Best of Show. Best of Show awards are presented to a single entry from each of 4 categories based on an organization's annual marketing budget. This year, Visit Florida added a Best of Show category for smaller budgets to increase recognition for businesses and organizations working with fewer marketing resources. For organizations with annual marketing budgets of less than $150,000, the Best of Show goes to Visit Suwannee County for the Soul of Suwannee. The rural community of Suwannee County launched its Soul of Suwannee digital media campaign to showcase its unique appeal with a creative strategy highlighting its spring system and vibrant outdoor experiences. Leveraging the expansive reach of Meta and Google platforms, the multifaceted strategy included targeted digital media placements, captivating promotional videos, and an immersive landing page designed to draw visitors in. The campaign achieved remarkable impact and engagement across multiple channels, with completion rates, click-through rates, unique visitors, engagement, and other metrics outperforming industry standards.
So we have another one. You want me to pass this one around too?
You can just set it up there.
Just sit right over there, buddy.
I don't want to block y'all's view, so
That's awesome.
So we've known, like it just said, outperforming industry standards. We've known that. We have meetings with Madden on a very regular basis. We get monthly updates from them, and we've known that we were outperforming industry standards. But much to our surprise, we won Best in Show and received a second Henry Award. We are absolutely thrilled to have this recognition from the state on all the hard work that we've done, but this has definitely been a team effort, and we couldn't have done it without the support of our TDC board and without the support of our commissioners as well.
yeah, if I might add, obviously this young lady and the Madden team do all the work, but we couldn't do any of that work without the TDC board. You know, Jason's back here, the vice chair, but you guys supporting that board and supporting us and what we do. And you don't just support them in this room. I mean, they have been here on site. You've helped with videos. You've done fam tours. You've carried them down the river. You've helped feed them numerous times. You know, you guys have showed the support for that group. They've in turn showed the results for Suwannee County. And I can tell you, you guys on the EDO side, we've done some great things. This was a really big thing on the tourism side. And we're damn proud. So thank you.
Awesome. Very good. Thank you. Wish we'd had that presentation first.
But you know, I'm sitting here thinking,
You set the agenda, boss.
but it really goes hand in hand. I mean, just to have the conversation as to how those monies get spent, and then to see the results. I mean, that's just, you can't make that stuff up, guys. Can't
Very,
make it up.
Very
good.
proud of y'all.
Proud of
Yep.
Suwannee County.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Very good. Best in Show and flag award for the gold, I guess.
Yep. Thank you.
You know, every time they come, they request a steak. So that's all I'm going to say.
I'll look over here. I've probably got access to them. Anyway, thank y'all for that presentation. Congratulations. Job well done. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Carissa.
We know
Great job.
that's kind of TDC's kind of your baby, so
Yep.
awesome job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're awesome.
Staff, we were on staff items. Any other staff present wishing to speak tonight? Seeing none, we'll move to commissioner items. Any commissioners have any items to discuss tonight?
No.
None. County Attorney, Mr. Attorney.
Mr. Chairman, I'll defer except for one thing. After the shellacking that both Florida and Florida State took last week, I think we can all agree that Miami fans are the worst. With that, I yield.
You're going to look nice in that gator tie.
Could be y'all's year.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. Consultants, any consultants wishing to speak tonight? Yes, sir. Mr. Pittman. Welcome, sir. Name and address for the record.
Jimmy, I'll do a start. So as y'all are aware, I mentioned the last meeting that we had several issues with roads because of Hurricane Debbie. We enlisted our different teams of engineers to go do different tasks. One we assigned to Pittman Engineering was the 137 got blown out and had a hole. You saw the pictures of the truck sticking in it. We had to do something. So we got Pittman Engineering to work on that for us. And that's why Jimmy is here. We've got last minute information and we need to move on it tonight. But you can see he's not usually dressed quite relaxed as he is today. But anyway, thank you, Jimmy.
My wife will be proud. Jimmy Pittman, Pittman Engineering. So we were commissioned to go out and do a fast track design to replace the culvert that had blown out. Many of y'all know that the governor's office had a pretty big interest in this, and they began to tell people at DOT that y'all need to rush over there and do something pretty quick. And so they did, and they were able to open the road up to one-lane traffic and get away from having used the detour. But that then meant that the county staff had to stay out there basically 24/7 to keep people from going off the road and different things. But anyway, to provide that safety factor. So we were trying to get the design done as quickly as possible, and we were trying to coordinate to make sure that we were doing everything that was as FEMA likes and FDEM likes. So the intent, of course, will be to do a restoration project to replace the culvert that will be fully reimbursed by FEMA or FDEM, and we have had conversations even with DOT. I'll drop Jamie Drigger's name. He was kind of insinuating that there's a good possibility that there were some shortfalls in the funding we got from the other two, that DOT would likely step in and fill the gap. So we have had a lot of conversations with the FEMA reps in terms of the contracting method to get it out there and get it done quickly. We finished the design. We actually took 3 proposals, or we requested 3 proposals. We got 2 back. The low bidder today, or the low proposer, was CDM Contracting out of Lake Butler, and they have a pretty good reputation with the Department of Transportation for doing this kind of work. It's their specialty. So assuming that, do you want me to get into the dollars, or?
Might as well.
Well, the low bid was a little higher than I was hoping for, but it was basically $725,000 to go in and put a box culvert in place of the old pipe arch that had been in place. That pipe arch history is that it had basically blown out twice before in previous storms over the years. Ordinarily, FEMA wants you to do an in-kind replacement, but over the years they have relaxed that to something they term betterment. And if you can show that the new structure has a better durability and resilience, they like that word resilience, that they will probably go along with the funding required to replace it as we proposed. And we've talked to the local FDM guy here, Ismail Colon. He's looked at it. He's told us that he thinks what we're doing is the right way to approach it, and he would expect that they would probably pick up that funding. So we did get the proposals in. We have one that's low, and I guess we would need to move forward with the construction contract to get this thing started as soon as possible. So,
Mr. Chairman, we will need, before we, as you recall, 137 is going to get replaced or repaved and widened. I can't remember if it's the coming year or the next. I can't remember the timing on that. When we were at emergency management having a conversation with DOT representatives there, the first conversation was, we'll just put it back like it was. And I said, well, remember, you're going to be paving this for us shortly. Oh, so maybe you need to build it better so it don't blow out after we pave it. So anyway, long story short, Jimmy's done some great work and putting it all together for us. Appreciate that, but we do need to move forward, get this project done. During the emergency, I could move forward with this, but because we're getting close to the end of that, I'd rather have the commission make a motion to approve that. Again, we are 95% sure of reimbursement, but it's got to be done. So, Mr. Morrison, what do you need for us to move forward?
What the real question to ask is, where's Keith? What does he need to?
Mr. Chairman, while we do that, I got a question.
Go ahead. While you are discussing that on a sidebar, I'll let Commissioner White.
The box culverts you're putting in there, I'm assuming we're going to put it wide enough to accommodate the widening of that road?
Yes. Yeah, and it's typically going to have the head walls out far enough to meet the safety requirements of the drop-off, so it'd be much wider.
Well, I figured you were, but I just wanted to ask to make sure.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hey, Keith, I don't mean to call you out, but we're doing pseudo-emergency board action to approve, how much was it, Mr. Pittman?
Just under $725,000.
$725,000 for a road project.
Okay.
What sort of, you just need, would board action today be enough to authorize you guys to cut the check?
Yeah, approval to release the payment.
Well, yeah, but that payment, we'll be in the next fiscal year before we start talking about paying.
For that, yeah.
Unless they're going to get that thing done in 30 days?
I'm sorry, I missed the discussion. I was in the back room updating a budget book.
Just for the record, we did get asked for 3 proposals. We changed the procedure because of the emergency from what we normally would do, so we met the guidelines there. But I think, I don't know if they can move in 30 days and get it complete in 30 days, but maybe more. Mr. Pittman's been in contact with the folks, but either this year's budget or next year's budget, certainly.
I didn't mean to call you out. The real person to ask is finance to make sure that everything is copacetic on their end for cutting the check. So basically, I think all we need
What's the time period of construction?
I don't remember what contract time we put on there, but it was something on the order of 45 to 50 days, I think.
Would there be draws or would there be one-time lump sum? Do you know? Hard to say without the contract.
If it does it really quick, you may just make one draw, but I would expect at least 2.
So, Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
so
sir.
are you just asking for approval to
Yes.
go ahead with the work is what you're asking for here?
Yes, then we'll bring back the invoices as they come in.
and that's fine.
I was going to say, Mr. Chairman, couldn't we just approve it and let the attorney and finance figure out if it falls in this budget year or next year? I mean, I don't know. I think it's a time thing here we're talking about as to when the invoice would come due. Yeah.
Well, if he split it in half, I'm sure we could find 300 something this
Right.
year, but we have 1.8 million, I do believe, in road projects for next year. But I'm assuming, has anyone talked to FEMA or FDOT or anyone about the time period for reimbursement? Because I don't.
We're trying to get confirmation on a lot of different things, a lot of moving parts. But yes.
Is there a possibility that a state agency with deeper pockets than ours, if it's FEMA, can front the money to us and then let them wait on the reimbursement?
DEM could.
Are we having those conversations with DEM?
Yes, yeah. The DEM guy came out, he thought it'd be a $1.2 million project. So
He'll be happy to float 735.
Yes. Right. We'll see.
Well, at the end of the day, it's got to be fixed.
Right.
I mean.
Right. So I think just a motion to approve us moving forward with getting the work done, and then bring back invoices as we get them.
And then, Mr. Chairman, we'll need a pending execution of a contract, because we still haven't done that.
Yeah, also give me the
so
authority.
I think tonight, let's just do a motion to approve moving forward, and then when you come to contract, that actual contract pending attorney review will be back on the agenda in. That's 2 weeks.
That's not going to work.
Only if you want to do something where you could start him a little sooner.
Right.
He says he's ready to go.
So you could do.
You can authorize Mr. Scott to have authority to sign on the board's behalf.
Pending
Yes,
upon
sir.
approval of county attorney.
Yes, sir.
Definitely.
So Commissioner Mobley, you threw a motion out there. Do you stand with that motion?
Yep.
Allow Mr. Scott to move forward with the CDM contractor to fix County Road 137 pending the county attorney's approval of the contract?
Yep.
Okay.
Second.
Commissioner Mobley makes a motion to do that. Commissioner Perkins has seconded. All in favor, aye? Aye. All opposed, same sign. 5-0. So tell Mr. Ellison to get Billy Ray right.
We have to get a contract put together and we're working on.
Yeah,
Make
Mr.
sure we have the right format of that contract.
Have him email me, Mr. Pittman, just have him email me first thing tomorrow.
I'm sorry?
Have him email me first thing tomorrow.
The contractor?
Yeah, the contract for the job if he hasn't ready yet.
Okay, I guess so. I've had some questions out there about what type of contract.
All right, you and I can discuss it when we're done.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, Mr.
I have
Pittman.
one little last thing I need to put out there, I guess. The County Road 49 bids did come in, and of course, they came in, again, over budget, unfortunately so. In conversation with DOT, they told us, well, maybe you just don't need to widen the road. And we've talked about that not being an option for us. That was part of the reason for getting it approved, to widen the road and make it a safer road. So the only option we're looking at right now is having to shorten the length that we're going to be able to do with the money. I told DOT that since we have the third project that would fill the gap coming later, why can't we just add that link to that project? And for some reason, they're balking at that. And they're saying you just have to put it as a new scrap priority for a coming year. So I guess, in summary, cost came in a lot higher than we wanted. We're going to have to cut some of the length off, probably about 2 miles. And how DOT looks to put that in the program somewhere, I guess we'll have to continue to debate. But I just want to let y'all know that we want to be able to move in that direction and get Anderson started out there.
How much money are we talking about?
How much of a deficit?
Yes, sir.
Roughly, I don't know off the top of my head. Somewhere around 2.5 million.
It's $1 million a mile. That's basically what it is.
The prices are just crazy, like everything.
Smoke's coming out of Commissioner White's ears over here.
I'll keep my peace on this for right now. I ain't happy about it.
Are you looking for us for
I
an
mean,
answer?
that's the worst part of the road.
Y'all
that
know
ain't
that's
getting
where we
paid.
were, and
Well, if we
I
come
guess
back,
we do have to move forward with executing that.
Are they letting you pick, or us pick, what 2 miles is getting cut off?
that's what I want.
Well, we certainly defer to y'all, but we were suggesting that we come from the 252 in and come north.
I'll defer to 4 and 5. They're more familiar with that particular stretch of the road. That's kind of.
I'd rather.
Well, the worst part of the road's not getting paved. That's the problem. Those humps, when you get south of 252, is really bad. That's kind of like the Davenport
Well,
Road.
now that from 208 to 252 is coming in another contract either next year or the year after. The only orphan that will be left out there will be from 252 to whatever we have to pull to the north.
So we're going to end up with 2 miles of unfinished road.
If
That makes a lot of sense.
If the contract for the third piece comes in like everything else is, you're going to have an overrun there, and you may end up needing to find a place to do 4 miles instead of 2.5. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
The other one was probably programmed 4 years ago, and
Well, that's my whole point. Where's the end of this? I mean, are we going to be the first part we pave wore out before we get the last part paved here? I mean, that's kind of where I'm going
I
with
think
this.
that the department typically would like to close gaps like that, and they do give that some priority in their selection, but there's no guarantee. I understand what you're saying.
So I'll just say this for the public's knowledge. The Scrap and Scott program is a 5-year program, basically.
More or less.
You know, so the board submits roads to Florida Department of Transportation in a list of priority that we agree on, or we just send them over there, five roads every year. DOT runs their metrics on the roads, traffic crashes, traffic counts, and I don't know all their metrics, but they run their own metrics, and then they recategorize the roads that meet their criteria, and then it comes down to funding. So if only one of the 5 met their criteria, then they look at the other. How many other counties are in Scrap and Scott?
16.
So other 16 counties just say, hey.
Well, in this district, I mean, there are 30.
Yeah, I'm just talking about District 2.
Yeah, 16 in this.
So then that pie has to be sliced in some
There's not
manner.
enough there.
Yeah, so you may only get like 250. It made it in there, but we had to cut the road in half, you know, for the money, for everybody to get a piece of the pie, or all the roads that met the metrics to get a piece of the pie. So, you know, we're going to piecemeal 250 and try to get the rest of it. We're piecemealing 49. I mean, this is just.
And I think, tell me if I'm wrong, Mr. Chairman, again, because I kind of ran into this on 76th Street. It's probably this, if it was approved 4 years ago. I mean, COVID kind of changed everything. Prices doubled after that, and that money was there, probably enough to do it at the time. And now here we are, because the inflation, cost of the product.
Yeah,
I'll just say commonly when we're doing estimates for new candidates, I mean, we'll take recent bid prices that we got and add about 25%. And we'll put this ridiculous mobilization in there as a fudge factor, and still, that can't keep up with what's happening in reality.
That's just unreal.
I mean, I understand that. I don't know. It just seems as big a state of Florida is and as much revenue as this state takes in that we can't finish a road. And that just, I don't know, that aggravates me.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir, Mr. Scott.
We will be continuing to have dialogue with DOT and anybody else will stop and listen. But we'll do our due diligence to see if we can find the additional. On the 137 project, just for the public, we just got these numbers this afternoon, is why we rushed to get them done today. So just so y'all are aware. Thank you.
Yeah, I just think it's informative for the public to understand, and because 10 years ago I didn't understand it, that it takes if it's a $7 million project, it takes 5 years to get the money before you start seeing
at least
4 years before you start seeing dirt work on that road. So you hear fix the road, fix the road, fix the road. Well, you just heard 2 miles at $2.5 million shortfall. So Suwannee County can't go pave 25 miles of road in a year. That's $40+ million. I mean, so as much as I would love to do that, the numbers just aren't there. So we're at the mercy of FDOT and the state to help us on the bigger projects. And as Mr. Pittman said, we're one of 16 counties that are needing FDOT's help. And we'll continue to lobby them for as much help as we can get, because we can't afford to do it by ourselves. Not the big ones, like 250 and 49.
But I agree. I think maybe when we're all over there this upcoming year, that's something we need to have a discussion with those folks as far as that money, that pot being larger.
Well, and I would tell the public, continue to, when the public's talking to your legislatures, increase the funding for scrap and scop.
Well, they keep cutting it.
Scrap and scop is
It has
the
been cut every year I've been here
for small counties. So when you're talking to your state legislatures, encourage them to keep funding scrap and scop. That's small county road paving projects. So those programs don't get money, we don't get roads paved, not big roads.
That's right.
Anyhow, I'm off my soapbox. And Commissioner White, you off your soapbox?
I'm all right.
Mr. Hale?
I'm good.
Y'all good?
Good.
Any other consultants present wishing to speak? Okay, general business, item number 19, discuss with possible board action. I'm sorry, Mr. Meeks called me before that. This item has been pulled for a later date. Is that right, Mr. Meeks?
Okay.
I almost read it all. That'll come back later. I don't know what's going on with it, but it's pulled. We do have some additional agenda items. Item number 1 is adopt a resolution authorizing and directing Suwannee County Property Appraiser to make a first certification and extension of the 2024 tax roll to the tax collector prior to the completion of the Value Adjustment Board hearings to allow for meeting the statutory requirements of issuing tax notices. This is housekeeping procedural stuff, guys, done every year. Any questions, comments, concerns on that authorization to the property appraiser? You have a letter in there requesting that, and the resolution is attached.
Call for a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Have a motion by Commissioner Hale. Second by Commissioner White. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 2, additional agenda item. Approval of construction agreement with Anderson Columbia Incorporated in the amount of $6,273,236.90 for widening and resurfacing of 76th Street, Mitchell Road, from US 90 to River Road. The budget impact is funded by FDOT. Scrap and scop. $6.2 million project right there. Anderson Columbia was a low bidder. Any questions, comments on this particular construction agreement with the low bidder?
No, sir.
Pending county attorney, I'm assuming you have read and approved of this contract?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. Questions, comments, concerns?
None.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Scott?
I don't think that Mr. Hale wanted to share that part of that other project meeting.
Hey, I had to fight for that.
Commissioner Hale, I will
I'm
give.
willing, I'm willing to help him fight for his, but y'all know, I mean.
Commissioner Hale's been working on Mitchell Road for a long time.
This and
This is about a 6-7 year project?
7 years.
7-year project. He's
Trying to
finally
get this
getting.
done, and been a lot of people helping, and Mr. Jimmy being one of them, and just everyone is involved, Greg's staff. I couldn't have done it without them, but these are the things that we fight for, and I think a lot of times the public don't know it, but I mean, this is multiple phone calls, multiple trips to DOT, multiple begging meetings, and me going in there just, fighting for this stuff, and thank goodness we got a team that goes and fights with us, and I appreciate the board's support as well.
7 years later, you got a construction agreement.
Yep, 7 years.
Congratulations, sir.
Yep.
Would you like to offer a motion?
I would love to, and I do. Offer a motion.
Have a motion by Commissioner Hale to accept, a second by Commissioner Perkins. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign.
Mr. Chairman, by the way, too,
5-0.
several different times we went back to DOT to get more money to finish it up. We kept whittling away and we got there, but.
Don't say that. We're going to get White upset.
Hell yeah.
We got to whittle. We got.
Well, I'm 4 years in, so what, I got 3 more, you saying, Hale?
Yeah. I was going to say, I'd go help you, but the last time I was over there, Secretary Evans said he didn't want to see me no more, so.
Moving along, guys. Item 21, administrators' comments and information. Mr. Scott?
Just a couple things. The debris is being picked up by the state, by DOT contractor. They have begun. Information we've received is they'd like to see the debris out by the right-of-way by 9/22.
9/22. Everybody
Right.
hear that? 9/22. Deadline for debris by the road.
And pickup will be over at 10/6.
10/6. October 6th. If you don't have it out there by the 22nd, they're leaving by the 6th. Post that everywhere, please, sir.
Right.
Facebook, well, wherever. County website. Stick it on your forehead and walk around.
We'll
That
do
needs
that.
a motion.
So just United, they've already picked up 13 million tons of, 13,000 cubic yards of debris. So just to give you an idea. One last thing is the local state of emergency. The Public Works guys are saying they should be wrapped up with the loose ends this week, probably early this week. So I'm thinking if we let this one expire, we may not have to renew that next time. That's not my call, it's yours.
Yeah, we got 2 weeks to our next meeting.
Right.
Fair enough. Anything else, Mr. Scott?
I'm all good.
Last item.
If we could keep Dennis Rafferty and his family in our prayers, his sister-in-law passed away over the weekend.
We'll pray for the Rafferty family. I didn't know that. Last item on the agenda, board members. We'll start. I started last meeting on the left. I'm going to start to my right. Commissioner Hale.
I don't have anything really, just definitely keep Dennis and his family in prayers, and just thank everybody for coming out. And like always, I appreciate our staff and all the departments and those folks that help make us look good.
100% agree. Thank you, Commissioner Hale. Commissioner White.
It's great to see a big crowd come to take part in your government. Congratulations to Jimmy and Carissa. Good job. Well deserved. And that's all I got, Chairman.
I'm going to say it backwards. Congratulations to Carissa. Did you say Carissa and Jimmy?
Yeah, Carissa
and Jimmy. Yeah, okay. Commissioner Perkins.
I'm like the others. I just want to just echo what you all said. Is we thank you all for coming. I was in Jasper to their meeting today, and they had no one. But thank you all for coming out, being concerned citizens, being here to support us and to give us some directions too. Thank you for our departments, all their hard work, all of our workers out there. We thank you for all those. And all those who helped us out. Mr. Pittman, thank you for helping us out. And Mr. Lackman, thank you for helping us out as well. And I hope everybody had a great vacation. Holiday on yesterday. Thank you, Mr. Norris and Ms. Carissa. Great job.
Thank you, Commissioner Perkins. Commissioner Mobley.
Thank you. Congratulations to Jimmy and Carissa too, and appreciate everybody for coming. And thank you to the fire chief. I went on my ride along this past week. Well, 3 or 4 hours. Had a good time. We went to a wreck. So
Well, I didn't get that. I went on one too. I didn't get that kind of
He
treatment.
said you didn't want to stay with him but an hour.
I was with him for a half a day.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Enjoyed it, by the way.
Well, hey, when I went with them, they told me I should be using a
You forgot
chainsaw.
to come, he said. He said Perkins is late. He forgot about it.
I didn't show up.
Him and I were already rolling.
I totally forgot our meeting.
I ain't with you.
I know.
I was on my way.
Boy, you a big clown.
You good?
Yes, sir, I'm good.
Anyway, yes, thank all the public for being here. Big crowd here. I see some new faces. Glad to see y'all here and come witness this. I don't know what this is. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's tough, sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's not fun. But here we are, and we'll get through it. But keep the Rafferty family in your prayers, and like everyone up there said, we can't do what we do without a tremendous staff that is the backbone of this whole county government. That's the people that work there full-time every day. So we certainly appreciate all of them. Congratulations, Carissa, Jimmy, good job. That's all I got.
Oh,
Keep it
Mr.
short.
Chairman.
Commissioner Perkins?
You might want to let Mr. Norris know if he ever make Chris a man and she get that thing, he might be in trouble. That thing is heavy. He got a big head back there, but I don't think want to match that.
He makes her mad every day.
Oh.
What are you talking about?
100%. Yeah, I don't know. This thing's pretty heavy. I don't know how far she could throw it, but maybe she'll try one day.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here. Anybody have anything else?
Motion to adjourn, sir.
Have a motion to adjourn by
So
Commissioner
moved.
Hale and I have a second by Commissioner Perkins. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.